Hello, it's James Black here with the Canadian Securities Exchange, joined by my good friend Chris King at OTC Markets Group. Chris, today we're going to be talking about the OTCID platform that you guys are now introducing. And this is an important video for anyone watching that is caretaking, running, involved with the CSE listed company or even any Canadian listed company. Chris, welcome to the program today, and thanks for joining us.
Hi, James. Good to be here. Thank you.
Now, the topic at hand is OTCID. And for those who don't know what OTCID is, perhaps anyone who's involved in the public company that wants better access to U.S. investors and trading, better access to U.S. liquidity, they really are best to look at your platforms, whether traditionally it was the OTCQX or QB or the Pink Current. But now we're looking at a new era for your OTC platforms with OTCID. And that's really what we're here to talk about today. And Chris, tell us just exactly what the OTCID program is and really who it's built for.
Sure. So, look, I think this entire conversation is, as you say, designed to help educate companies in terms of whether they want to access the US and in what form they want to access the US. So, whether a company trades on our top tiers, OTCQX, OTCQB, or perhaps decides to settle for a lower tier of the market but still have a footprint in the US, all of this is relevant. The OTCID market has been created in response to SEC's rule change of 15C to 11. So just for context, people who are very familiar with our market tiers will probably know Pink Current as sort of the default market for bankrupt or disengaged companies and some great companies and everything in between. It's really been that disengagement that we've had to react to. So just in terms of why this is relevant, if you seek US access, the Pink Current market is going to be discontinued on 1st of July 2025. And the reason for this is simply that because of that lack of engagement from issuers, we as a regulated market are ultimately responsible for lighting up the trading screens, informing brokers of the characteristics of all the securities that trade here. Pink Current in its old form did not allow us to meet the ongoing verification requirements that the SEC now puts on us. So that's basically why the changes are occurring. And I can go on and speak a little bit more about ID. So what do you need to know?
Well, exactly that. What are the key requirements? So if someone is on Pink Current right now, or maybe not even on OTC markets, but listed in Canada, what exactly are the key highlights for them to be on this platform, be on OTCID? What are the short strokes on that?
Sure. Well, I think it's probably worth highlighting that nothing happens automatically. The key here is that everything that we do on our premium markets around engaging the transfer agent, getting good data, ensuring that companies are compliant with the SEC's exemption for SEC filing and additional regulatory burden, that's going to be a core part of our thinking about and planning behind OTCID. So all a company really needs to do is to contact us and just have that conversation around where do they fit in to our market tiers dependent on their strategy and what they hope to achieve. And then once we've determined that, we can outline the application steps and just getting set up properly. I should probably stress the fact that OTCID, it's not a premium market and doesn't come with some of the additional compliance solutions such as blue sky exemptions allowing brokers to solicit the stock, but it does provide for a baseline of disclosure within the US. And anytime a US investor goes on their brokerage of choice, or perhaps is just researching companies through a finance portal, your US ticker is tagged directly to that. So your status here is important. And no matter which tier of the market you think you would like to fit into, there's an application process. Also, it's worth mentioning companies are not required to hire a sponsor across any of our market tiers today. That's another byproduct of the change that the SEC made to Rule 15C to 11. We can help companies set up ticker symbols, approve them for quote. We are also plugging into CDR later this year. And so what that means is quite significant because prior to that change in setup, all of our clients are required, as they are today, to log on to our client site and post disclosure we're making it more of a pull. So using technology to simplify the process of being quoted in the States.
Right. And what's that risk for companies that may be on pink current now that don't take the step in later this year to evolve onto the OTCID? What's that risk?
I spend my working day explaining to companies how cross-border trading works. So I think it would be the risk is ultimately whether or not you're able to service existing US shareholders or perhaps attract new US shareholders by doing nothing. Companies that take no action will be moved into a limited market tier, limited meaning that the company has not engaged with us to provide us with the information that we then need to ensure that that company is freely tradable and is indeed compliant with SEC Rule 15C211. So that's a red flag to market makers and investors and advisors.
Right. And again, back to the process of just evolving onto the OTCID if you're on pink. Is there anything that, say, a CSE issuer, a Canadian public issuer has in place that's going to make that simpler or make the process quicker just by virtue of them being a Canadian listed company?
That is the secret sauce, is at the SEC's Rule 12G32B, being a foreign private issuer. So absolutely, any company listed, and we've talked many times over the years, we have a great partnership. The CSE has been very foot forward in terms of educating companies, so we always appreciate that. We work with more than 250 of your issuers today, but the answer to your question is being public on a qualified foreign exchange and in good standing and passing the application process through us. It's a very simple, streamlined process. And like I said, with the use of the CDAR plugin, the removal of the QBQX sponsor requirement, it's very, very straightforward, very light touch.
Right. And then from a cost perspective, what should the company that's looking to do this expect to pay to get onto the OTCID if they're already listed on a Canadian exchange?
The application fee is $3,500 US. The annual fee is $7,500 US.
Right. So the benefits seem to far outweigh that cost, and so the value's there. Chris, tell us what is the best next step for anyone who's either on pink now or not even on an OTC market tier. Really, what's the best step for them going forward to get in touch with you guys and really investigate their options and get moving?
Yeah, well, the discontinuation of the pink current market is 1st of July. Typically, an application to us takes somewhere between 4 to 8 weeks. That can depend on the company's bandwidth, but also our bandwidth. So just to remove any of the stress associated with getting things done in a timely manner, I would say let's make sure we have a conversation as soon as possible. And applications should ideally be submitted to us by early May.
Awesome. Okay, Chris, well, we appreciate the information. And obviously, we like to support our companies here at the CSE. So if they have any questions, they can reach out to yourself. Put your email down below on this video. And once again, I'm James Black with the Canadian Securities Exchange. If you have any questions, if you're listed on the CSE or elsewhere in Canada, welcome to call me or email me at james.black@thecse.com or get more information at our website at www.thecse.com. Or conversely, go to Chris's website, otcmarketsgroup.com. Thanks again, Chris, and we'll see you very soon, and good luck with the program.
Thanks, James.